Hi everybody, it's Christina from Pretty Distressed. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be building a bed from scratch using lumber from the hardware store, and I'm going to be painting it for my daughter's room. So if you want to see how I built this canopy bed and got this look, just keep watching. If you are new to my channel, I am a furniture painter and refinisher, and you will normally find me on here doing tutorials on how to refinish furniture, things that you have or things that you find on the cheap. But I also do some DIY builds along with the help of my husband. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw us working on this bed over the holidays, and I finally have got it completed and all of this filmed to show you guys the details of building your own canopy bed. So let me zoom you in. There's lots to talk about and we will get started. This video is being sponsored by Hunter Fan Company. It was actually their low profile Cranbrook fan that inspired this whole bed build and room makeover. It comes in 4 different finishes, but for my makeover, I selected blush pink, and I'm proud to tell you that I actually installed this thing on my own. The instructions were really straightforward and easy to follow. I chose this fan because it has a really modern look, but at the same time, it has a vintage feel. Her room used to be really shabby and fancy, and as she's growing up, I think she's just a little bit more sophisticated, so I wanted her room to reflect that. She is still really girly, so I loved that they have this new finish extension option in the blush pink. I will link this fan down below in the Hunter site so you can go check it out. So I knew I wanted to do a canopy bed. I've had my eye on this one from Restoration Hardware, but you guys know me, I'm not going to spend this much money on a bed. I'm going to try to dupe it myself. So I went to Pinterest and Google to see if I could find any DIY plans for building a canopy bed, and the ones that I liked the most that I found were from Anna White. If you guys have never visited her site or heard about her, she is a building guru and she has tons of free plans up on her website, so we decided to tackle her canopy bed. We got our lumber from Home Depot. It was mostly pine and common board, and we bought a Craig jig as well to do the pocket holes for the bed build. I've wanted to get one of these for a while, and I know that Anna White uses it a lot, so hopefully we can build some more stuff with pocket holes in the future. These plans are amazing and really easy to follow, so I'm not going to give you a step-by-step of each process because you can print these out for yourself. I'm just going to show you how we did it. Here is my husband. I know you guys have seen him before when he built bunk beds and did the shiplap on our fireplace. It's fun working in a team. I'm the one that finds the inspiration and asks him to build something, and then he builds it and I get to finish it. So here he's just making all the cuts from the cut list, and while he was cutting, I was just taking the boards and sanding them with my orbital sander. I'm using a 150 pad and just kind of smoothing out if there's any gouges or stuff. Like I said earlier, we tried to just pick common board and stuff that was really affordable at Home Depot, so I was just smoothing out any gouges or imperfections in the wood. After we made all the cuts, he started drilling in the pocket holes, and this is just really going to aid in the construction to have a solid bed with hidden holes. There's a little bit of a learning curve with this jig, but I know Craig has a YouTube channel if you want any tips or tricks on how to use this thing. So this is the bed that we're replacing today. It used to be a crib and we got it off of Craigslist for really cheap, I think like 50 bucks or something, and the box spring's broken on it, so it was just time to change it up, and this was a great opportunity to get all those Legos and trash off the floor. We assembled the headboard portion outside, and I did film that, but it was just all our backsides, so I didn't think that you wanted to see that. But we brought that inside and then assembled the rest of the bed frame in the room. Craig Tools makes their own screws to use with these pocket holes. You can use regular screws, but we did go ahead and buy those because they recommend them and that they'll give you a stronger hold. We used a miter saw to make all our cuts, but the plans actually only call for a circular saw, so if that's all you have, you'll be in good shape. The plans also called for taking that circular saw and kind of shaving down the posts a little bit, I think just to give them some interest and shape. I wanted mine to be boxy like the Restoration Hardware one that I showed you, so we took that part out of the plans. As you can see, assembling the bed was definitely a 2-person job. But everything I have showed you actually took place in one day. We got everything assembled. We did have a little bit of problem on the last 2 pieces on the canopy. Oh no, shoot, it went through. But not to worry, the next day we went to Home Depot and got 2 new pieces, and then this time put them on correctly. The last step of the build was to get the cleats and slats on that are going to actually hold and house the mattress. And we had a ton of scrap wood in our garage from other projects. And so while these are all different sizes, they are the same width. So they're all even and level across. Once the build was complete, my husband walked on top of these just to make sure they were going to support weight, and we even tested the mattress on there too to make sure that it fit. With the build complete, it is now my turn to start finishing this piece off. So I just grabbed a little bit of wood filler to fill in all those holes we made with the screws. And the Craig jig actually came with these cool little inserts. You can see there, they're kind of like pre-cut dowels that you put in there to fill up the hole, which is really nice. And then I'm just taking a little bit of that wood filler to fill the remainder of that hole. I'm just using my finger to put this on, but if you don't want to touch it, you can use a putty knife to do this. So I filled up all the holes that you could see, and then once they dry, I just went back in with a medium grit sandpaper, a 150, and a tack cloth, and made it real nice and smooth and wiped away all that dust. Next up is painting, and I'm going to be using Dixie Belle's dried sage today. I'm actually going to make a wash of this paint, and it's going to act a little bit more like a stain versus a true paint. So to do that, I'm putting 4 ounces of paint in my spaghetti jar here, and then I'm adding the same amount of water. So I'm doing a 1-to-1 ratio, and I love using containers like this because A, I'm reusing it, and B, it has measurements on the side, so it makes it really easy to make sure that I'm doing the same amount of paint if I need to mix up more. For this wash technique, you're going to want a pair of gloves. Any type of paintbrush will do. I'm using a chip brush and some wiping rags. I work in 2 to 3 foot sections at a time. Your paint is going to be really watery and drippy, so make sure that you have some covering down, some drop cloths down to protect your flooring. I'm painting it on in the direction of the grain, and once you get your little section done, you're going to take your clean wiping cloth and just wipe back the paint, and this is going to make the grain come through and make it look a lot more like a stain versus a thick coat of paint on there. The rags I'm using are those Intex rags that I talk about, I think, in almost every video. I love them because they're great for staining and painting and waxing, so I can get a lot of use out of them, and they really absorb that paint. They're not going to just push it around, and that's what you're looking for. So I will link those down below so you can see them. Let's talk about why I selected doing a paint wash versus a stain. The reason is that we got all different kinds of wood, and there were some imperfections in the wood. This is a DIY project, so I wanted it to be affordable. So common board is the easiest type of wood and the cheapest wood to find and buy. At Home Depot, I think it's typically going to be pine. That's what we've found, and we spent about $100 on our lumber. We did have some scrap pieces for the slat, so that saved us a little bit. Using the paint here is going to make it look, the coloring look uniform across all these different types of wood, but I did pick a color that kind of looks like a stain that's natural. It's like a taupe with a green undertone, so I'm kind of faking that stain look by using paint. This is a really easy look to achieve and doesn't take a lot of skill or technique. You just want to work in those small sections so your paint's not sitting on there too long for an even finish. Your rags will get gunked up, and you will need to switch out and get a new rag every now and then once it's all loaded up with paint. And once I was done, I loved the way that it looked. It was like that raw kind of natural wood. And so I decided not to seal it. I'm going to see how that holds up. If that terrifies you, you could definitely seal it with a top coat or a wax or something like that. I would just recommend using a water-based one so that you don't get any yellowing of your wood. And that's it. I can't believe we built a bed from scratch in like 2 days. So here is the big reveal. I can't believe that we made this bed. It is just beautiful. My daughter loves it. And of course, I had a lot of fun completing this with my husband. This Hunter fan truly inspired this whole space. I finished it off with some bedding from Betty's. This is the pink sugar set. I got the flowers you see on the wall and the little unicorn lamp and these cute little throw pillows from one of my favorites, Hobby Lobby. And of course, I want to give a shout out to Anna White for providing these plans on her website. Thank you guys for watching this video all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you feel inspired to maybe take on a DIY build of your own. Thank you again to Hunter for providing this fan and sponsoring today's video. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, you can leave those down in the comments below. I will be back with another project soon. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you next time.